My name's Squadron Leader Fiona Pearce. I'm currently the Military Gender Advisor in the Office of Military Affairs at UN Headquarters in New York. So I'm in the Australian Air Force and I've been seconded to the UN since January of 2018. So today we're having a women's forum here as part of African Endeavour, and what we're trying to do is work with the women that are attending, talk to them about what we call the gender perspective, which is the unique differences between men and women and how we use that in the operational area to make sure that we understand the protection needs of men, women, boys and girls. And one of the things that we really need is having more women in our military. So we're working with the women to explain to them why it's so important that they exist and why we need more of them. I think we're getting better. Most militaries around the world are acknowledging that they do need to have women as well as men to be operationally effective. And we're also understanding that we need to have different requirements to actually get women into the roles that we need them to perform. I think in the future what I hope is that we recognise that men and women are different, but that we're both equally up to the task. And hopefully women who want to be in our militaries will be able to not only be in the military but to thrive and have the same opportunities that men do. I hope they walk away from today knowing how important they are and feeling empowered to actually use their voice. Sometimes women will sit back and let men do the talking, and I think we need to make sure that the women's voices are heard. When you have men and women working together to make decisions, those decisions are better, but they won't be better if women don't speak for themselves. I think every nation on the planet has different challenges in terms of getting women into their military, keeping women in the military and deploying women. And I think that actually African nations are amongst the best nations for deploying women into peacekeeping, which is something that the UN really respects and appreciates. We need to get more women into the front line of peacekeeping, and African nations, particularly Ghana, have really come up and stepped up to the plate, and they deploy some of the highest numbers of women out of all of our troop contributing countries. We've got women from a number of different African countries. There's women from Europe. We've got a Canadian representative as well. But we do have women from a number of different African countries, which is really exciting. So I think different nations run women-only forums from time to time. People sometimes think that's a little strange. Why would we want to have separate forums for women? What we actually find in research is that when women have an opportunity to be alone, they start to develop leadership and display their leadership potential. When they're then working in a mixed environment or doing training with men, they don't lose that. Whereas women, sometimes when they go directly into a mixed environment, as I said, they hold themselves back and they don't display their leadership potential, so the instructors don't see it. So when we get women-only forums like this or women-only courses for training, one of the things we're doing is empowering the women to know that they can be leaders so that they can then take that confidence forward when they go into the other environments that they work. Absolutely. I mean, we need women in all levels of the military and across all trades. It's not just about being able to outreach with local populations, it's also about the diversity of thought in organisations. So we need more women in the enlisted troops, more women in the officer ranks, and that will mean that we've got better decision makings all across our military. I think African Endeavour is a great opportunity for the UN as well as for the participating nations, and I think that it's great to see that there's an emphasis to actually look at something that's really near and dear to the UN, which is getting more women involved in the peacemaking process. That's everything from civil society, women participating in negotiation, right through to women in military and police and corrections working hard to help the local communities that we're there to protect. So thank you very much for the opportunity. But the plan is that the more forums like this we hold, the more women and the more men are exposed to the ideas that we're talking about. That's when it becomes mainstreamed, and we don't have to have these forums anymore because everybody already knows about it. It's going to be difficult to know exactly what change will happen in the short term, but maybe one of the women that are here today will be the future chief of their defence force. Who knows?